The following podcast is sponsored by Words and Pictures Comics, located at 2610 Center Street, number 6. Words and Pictures is your one-stop shop for vintage back issues and cutting-edge graphic novels. Awesome service, great shop. Check them out. Welcome, everyone, to episode 241 of Just Joshing. I am your host, Joshua Pantalaresco. I write stuff and podcasts too. Today, my guest and two guests here are Vijay Persaud and Traci Ableson. They work for Aspire Higher. It's mental and physical health. A lot of it, the interesting thing about this one is a lot of it is done digitally via Skype, other messaging, and we talk a lot about that in this episode. It's an interesting development. It's been developed in other countries and it's coming to Canada. Really cool stuff. But first, let's talk about a couple things. By this weekend, Alice Zero should be done as an ARC for ebooks. I'm really excited about this. It's finally done. I'm finally working on it. I've been playing with GIMP for the last little bit, and it's finally going the way I wanted to, which is really, really good. I'm excited. Like I said, a lot of things are coming up. I didn't get to go to the Emerald City Comic Con this year. I'm hoping to do that next year properly. I was too behind on this. Had a chance to interview Mackenzie Carr, the artist for Alice Zero. That's going to coming up in probably 3 weeks. Mackenzie's that was a real pleasure to talk to. I like it when people want to succeed, and I got that real impression there. And I get this impression with my guest here as well. So we'll get to that now, and we'll get to the contest at the end of the episode. All right? All right. Okay. 1 second here. We're just going to do one thing. There we go. So, anything incriminating you'd like to say, make it good.
Yeah. Anything incriminating?
Yes. So, for those people who don't know, who are you guys and what do you do?
So my name is Vijay Persaud, and this is my wife,
Traci Ableson.
And together we run a company called Aspire Higher Health and Fitness, and basically it's a lifestyle company. So we do things from health and fitness coaching to actual boot camps, which I was telling you about. We do that online, and the way that runs basically is video chat. So I do live session training. So it's not pre-recorded or anything, so every day is different. And I plan those over a year in advance, so every day I have something set up, and I work in that kind of phase my workout, so week to week it changes, and then every day the workout itself changes. And then aside from that, we also do career coaching as well as lifestyle coaching, and so it's a whole holistic.
It's a whole process then, pretty much.
Very much.
But yeah, so it's not just a physical. I guess we'll start with this. How'd you get into it?
So the coaching part is the lifestyle and career coaching is very much Traci, what she does. And the fitness part, I've been doing that. So I've been a trainer for 23 years this year.
Wow, you don't look it. No, I mean, but so did you just get into when my dad's is in the health industry. He started out as a trainer, and then he just evolved into what he's evolved into today. So did you just start you just come to the gym, work out, fell in love with it? How did you get into this?
So for me personally, with the fitness field, I was the typical backstory. So for those, because you can't see me, I'm colored. So I grew up in a place that was very Caucasian, so went through the whole thing of discrimination, all that kind of stuff. And of course what happens, well, you can either get broken by it or it can go the other way.
Yeah.
And I was also a clinically obese kid, so I was the fat kid. I was also the colored kid in a primarily Caucasian city. And so I was also in martial arts from the age of 5 and still do it today, so I've been doing that all my life. But even when I was doing that, I was the fat kid struggling in a martial arts sport where it was he's not in good shape, he's not going to make it. And so as I got older, I'm like, okay, I need to
change something up
and do something about this. And I was lucky enough to have a lot of mentors who stood by me through the years and helped me figure that out and helped me learn. And as I was getting older, I'm like, this fitness stuff's really cool. I like it, and it made me feel good. And then at the age of 14, I was like, okay, well, I'm old enough to work now, and this is something I want to do. So it was one of my very first jobs. I was working at a YMCA and got the SAM standards certification, was apprenticing under somebody who worked there. And basically that's where it started. So I had various jobs after that, but that's the one I always had. So if I was doing that part-time or full-time, I was always training.
Oh, okay. So this has been a lifelong. This is a lifelong obsession. So at this point, so wait. So you've been doing this for 20 years, 14. So you like mid 30s.
I'm 37 now.
37.
Yeah.
So you're same age as me. Awesome. But so that means
Actually 37 today.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Yes. So happy birthday. So that would mean okay. So so I just know this from again my dad's kind of thing. So so at this point for you, you've probably the biggest thing now, what you knew first then versus now is you work out probably a lot smarter today than you did when you started, because you figured it, because again, one of the things is I just know this too, because my day job is a lifting job, and I like the last thing I want to do. I don't want to go as long. Like when I do work out, I don't want to go as long in the gym, because I'm already lifting a lot to begin with, and two, I just want to be as efficient as possible.
Yeah.
In the gym. Have you gotten kind of that phase where you're just like maintenance slash like
The best way I can always say that is there's this old saying, train smarter, not harder.
Yeah.
Right? So I hear so many times there's people, you hear them chatting when they're in the background, they're like, I was at the gym for an hour and a half today or 2 hours.
Oh God,
today.
no.
And in my head, all I'm thinking is, but were you working the whole 2 hours, or what were you doing? Because for me, my workouts, 35 to 50 minutes, somewhere in there.
That's about right. That's about right, because you can do a really good solid workout, warm up workout, cool,
and intense, proper.
Yeah. Because one of the things I'm just speaking from my father's experience and just what I've seen myself. A lot of people, it's really amazing how many people that are in the gym that don't know what they're doing.
I would say 75%.
Yeah. No, it's actually it's a really interesting thing, because a lot of, I mean, I'm not saying anything about any trainers, but even some of them too. It depends on what you learn and how. Like, it's a lifelong. Like, there's an art form to actually how to work out, how to be smart about it, how to take care of your body. There's an art form to it, and a lot of people don't recognize that. They're just like, I want to become big and strong and all that other wonderful fun stuff, right? And don't get me wrong, no, I mean, even a lot of times, even if you're not doing it quite right, you do get bigger and stronger, but you don't always get the best results you're going for.
Or it takes you twice as long.
Exactly.
I also, now the new phrase that I've coined, because I like to try to figure things out to make me sound cool. And so my new thing, which I came up with on the weekend, was I don't train for aesthetics, I train for athletics.
Yes.
And that's the thing is, your body needs to be efficient. It needs to be able to do everything. It needs to be able to be strong, but it also needs to last. There you have to have your stamina as well as your strength. You need to have power as well as endurance. And all these different things, they don't just come from hitting a bench press.
No.
Right? They definitely don't come from just getting on a treadmill.
No.
And there's so many backwards thoughts on the whole concept of how to train. Some people like, go big or go home. It's like, no, that actually isn't the efficient and most effective way to do that.
No.
And especially now when it comes to things like weight loss, oh God, it makes me cringe when you see people on the treadmill for an hour. It's like, no, that's not the right way.
Well, no, actually, the big thing about weight loss, it's a lot of it has to do with your diet. Mm-hmm. Like, the majority of it actually has to do with it, especially. So, again, I'm in my mid-30s. I have to be careful about sugar, for example. Like, that is my enemy as I get older and older and older, because sugar is harder to break down. And I'm not as young as I was. I still recover very well, and I will for a little while yet. But there will come a point where my body's like, you know what? No. that's how it works. So as you get older, there are just things that you did younger that you don't do as well anymore, and you have to be well aware. Like, you have to have a very good knowledge of.
Perfect timing.
The oven.
So we have an oven singing right now to us. So did you real quick before we get back into this? So did you program the oven for that particular song?
No.
Well, not for that particular song, but it's programmed for it's got like 3 different ones you can pick, and that we just went with that.
Oh, okay, it's all good. So yes, so that's their musical taste. No. But it's a big thing. Like, as I've gotten older, I'm trying to, like, one of the big, like, for me personally is cleaning out my gut, cleaning
gut health is huge.
I know, no, absolutely. It's cleaning out my gut. making sure that like I'm taking the stuff like for me it's stuff like garlic, onions, like you're using stuff like for me stuff like turmeric, stuff like zinc. Zinc's really huge. Copper, just
magnesium is massive. And magnesium is one of the things now when it comes to the.
Yeah.
You hear some people who are like, my bone health, I need calcium.
No.
Calcium. It's like, no, you need magnesium first. Because without enough magnesium, your body can't absorb.
So what's your interesting? What's your ratio of calcium and magnesium? Because usually it's 2 to 1. A lot of people say. So my dad thinks it's 3 to 1. But I'm just curious where you are.
I actually lean towards where your dad would be.
Yeah.
More magnesium on the 3 to 1.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's where we fall.
Yeah. So it's because So guys, also when you buy your stuff, you gotta also be aware of how that stuff works.
There is, and it'll say, should say on it
what the ratios are. But there's definitely from just the health standpoint, like physically, there's a lot of education that a lot of people just don't know today.
One of the big issues I have, especially with our Canadian government's dietary, like the Canada Food Guide. The Canada Food Guide, I personally think it's garbage.
Yes, it is.
Really. And I know there's so many people, especially when it comes to going into places like hospitals and stuff like that, they're like, here's Canada Food Guide, use this. It's like, no, because first of all, we don't need bread. It shouldn't be part of the food guide because processed foods aren't a requirement.
The flip side, a lot of people, again, this is just something a lot of people they don't think about it in this terms, right? Like bread, when you think of old school, like the way the bread was originally made, that's incredibly healthy stuff. Today, a lot of our food, and a lot of people, is engineered in
it's
one
process.
Well, it's just engineered in so many different ways. So whether it's from the ground or wherever it's from, there's a lot of engineering. Stuff that was denser even as much as 5 years ago is nowhere near as dense as it was today, and that's just the way that's the way it is.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, so it's a constant. Like if you want to be like. And not trying to make this sound impossible, but you kind of have to be on your game in terms of what's going on in food if you really want to understand like what is the best kind of diets today.
The hard part, and this is the worst thing for a lot of people facing today, is when they're trying to be very conscious of their food intake, is nobody wants to read labels. You don't want to because it's a lot of work.
Pain in the ass.
It's a big pain in the ass. But the problem is, especially nowadays, it's almost becoming a requirement because like we're saying, everything's so chemically processed, so engineered that there's a lot of crap in there that you don't even realize. One of the safest ways you can shop when you're going to a grocery store, so a lot of people out there might realize this when they take a look if they haven't yet, but all the organic and healthiest stuff, the outside perimeter of the store.
Yes.
It's the aisles that have all of the
generally the junk. There are a couple exceptions, but yes, generally they're junk, right?
And that's the thing is, so if you stick outside perimeter, that's all the fresh stuff.
Yeah.
Right. So then when you go inside and you find other stuff that's the Lunchables and all that good stuff. Right.
Yeah. So okay.
And by good, you're being sarcastic.
By good, I'm being sarcastic.
Nobody can see your air quotes.
Oh yeah, I was air quoting.
That's right. He's doing his Austin Powers air quotes. Dr. Evil. So that is some of the physical. So you're the mental aspect of it.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. More the mental, emotional side of it. I started out in the corporate world. I did my MBA a few years back and have spent lots of time in offices and realized that my talents are better suited to the people side of things, interacting, that kind of thing, more so than the finance and strategy side.
It's funny. When I was in high school, a lot of people go, "What do you want to be when you're out?"
Mm-hmm.
It was usually some form of social work, banker, quote unquote safe job, whatever that is, right? And this is what I have found. Now, grant you, I'm not advocating my path because I certainly got my ass kicked on more than one situation.
Yeah.
But the thing I've noticed is that a lot of people, by the time they get to like their mid-30s, they recognize that whatever they thought was going to be fulfilling because that was what their parents did or their grandparents did, and so on and so forth. Most of that is crap. And on top of that, we're kind of in an age today where no one has a lifelong career anymore.
It's true. The mistake I made, like I am very much more artistic than I am.
You're more creative than you give yourself credit for.
And I knew that, but I chased a paycheck versus chasing
a dream,
what you actually should be doing. And that, like you said, you mentioned fulfillment. So I spent however many years in an office corporate environment realizing that, yes, I'm making a very nice salary, but I'm so miserable.
I'm miserable, and I might have an alcohol problem. It's usually. I mean, that sounds really.
For me, it was I started developing anxiety and couldn't sleep and that kind of thing because I hated going to work during the day. So, decided to make a change and give that up and help other people hopefully avoid some of those pitfalls that I made, or help them navigate their path.
But I mean, on the flip side, like when we were talking about this off the air, when I was talking about some of the authors interviews, sometimes you do come away with some of those jobs with some disciplines and stuff you need.
For sure.
Right. So I'm certain with your workshops and stuff like that. I mean, some of those techniques are
absolutely, like facilitating, public speaking, all that kind of stuff has been some very useful skills that I can transition into the coaching and whatnot.
And it's fair to say that even if you go into a job that you hate, if you actually put effort in, you're going to come away with something.
Yeah,
well, right? I actually, so for me, like, because I'm doing a lot of my other personal stuff for Vermilion, and I'm starting to see money for it, which is great, but I still need a day job.
Right.
Yeah.
So I usually do other like interesting ways to like make my day job more interesting to me. For example, I named it the Sparkle Muffin. It's been a nice way.
The Sparkle Muffin?
Yes. Because it's a nice way of saying drunken hot mess without actually saying a drunken hot mess.
Yeah.
Right? Because it just you walk in, like I know going in, like this, it's not a job I'm in control. I accept that there are things I can't control. I just come in, I just do my job, I be a professional, and I don't let myself go below a certain work. I think one of the biggest things that a lot of people have to recognize, even if you're in a job you don't like, you have to be very careful with what your standards are. Because whether people realize this or not, your work is kind of how you worship.
Yeah.
Right? Whether you realize it or not, that's the truth. So that doesn't mean you have to like being there, because I'm not going to advocate that for anybody. If you don't like it, you don't like it. But you have to understand that the effort you put in at your work is also going to be the effort you put in
life.
In life.
Yeah.
On some that's true with anything. Like any effort you put it, what you get in, you get out what you put into it. And again, now you have to be aware of the nature of where you work. Sometimes you're not going to get rewarded for the effort you put in. And that's a very common thing with a lot of jobs.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean
to the fulfillment side of it.
Yeah. I mean, right. But it doesn't mean you can't. You have to be careful of where you can check your ability to care at the door, but you can't check your professionalism at the door. You have to bring that in with you, and you have to do whatever. I will do whatever job is required of me.
Certain things don't cost you anything. Professionalism, respect, right? Generosity and kind of things like that get you something, and they don't cost you anything. And even if you go to a place that you hate, those are still things you can bring with you that will show people around you that you have value.
Yes.
Right? And even if your boss doesn't necessarily recognize it, the people around you might, and even maybe your boss does recognize it, but maybe they have somebody who's breathing down there and they can't do anything.
Which is in the case where I'm at. That's the way it is. Like the
trickle down.
There's a trickle down effect, and you can see it. And again, nothing but the people, nothing. It's just that's the way it is.
That's the structure.
That's the structure. It's just the structure of the job. It's not built any other way but what it is.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean, again, that's a big thing. But so you decided that at that point you were like, I'm going to find fulfillment. So how did you stumble, find?
Well, I knew. This last job was so bad. Like I knew I had to get out of there for my own sanity. But I had started moving into the coaching space prior to that because I recognized that, like, I was managing a group of people for quite some time, and that, like, the people side of it is what I really liked, and helping them figure things out and work on their career path, that kind of thing. I really liked it, and I was good at it. Like, I was able to help a lot of people navigate those things and avoid mistakes, or just help them recognize where their strengths were and like which path maybe they want to be on. And a
you've
lot
helped
of
people recognize their own value. You've done that for a lot of people.
Yeah, like a lot of coaching, it's more so, it's not even prescriptive. It's not me giving you answers. It's me asking you a lot of questions and helping you discover what you want to do or where, like, whatever problem it is that we're focusing on. So
your job is to eliminate excuses.
Yes,
that's
very much. I'm very much like a trainer. Like on the physical side, the reason it works to have a trainer is because of the accountability factor. Same thing with a coach, with for your business or your life. People are more likely to follow through if they know that I'm waiting for them to tell me how it went.
Yes.
Well, I mean, you look at it that way too. It's when it comes to being a coach or trainer of any sort, the fact is, if you don't tell someone about your goals, and today you want to take a day off because you're feeling lazy, no one's any wiser. But the moment somebody's involved, so again, if you have a coach, well, you have somebody to answer.
You have someone to answer to, or you have something to answer.
Or,
something, right? And as long as you have that, it's hard to say. Like, I mean, we all have our lazy days. We all just wake up it's like, I don't really want to do anything today.
Yeah.
And once in a while, that's actually the right thing to do.
Yeah,
but
mental health is just as important.
Yeah.
But you have to know the difference between mental health and lazy.
Yes.
And that's where people get.
Well, no, it's a slippery slope.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a very slippery slope because what happens is one time doesn't hurt anybody, and honestly, it's actually sometimes like that one time is actually a good thing because you need a break. I need to take, like, me personally, I sometimes should sleep more. That's just
Didn't I just talk about that? I'm like, you're up early, eh?
Yes.
I remember that.
Yes, I did. You're up early? No, I'm actually up late.
Haven't gone to bed yet.
Yeah, no, I need help, but that's okay. It's again nature of what I do. It's just the nature of what I do to some degree. It's just I recognize that, but I also just recognize that there are some days like I'm not going to do anything that day because it's actually to my benefit not to do anything that day. But there are some times where it's like, okay, I have an interview because I gave my word that I would be here at X amount of time, or if I'm and I take that seriously because if I don't follow through. Right? This is a lot of people don't recognize about this. If you don't follow through on what you say, sooner or later you're going to lose credibility with not just the people around you, but with yourself.
Yeah, well, that's one thing that I always talk to people about. We break promises to ourselves all the time. You say you're going to do something and then you don't feel like it or whatever and you push it off. But if it was me making a promise to you, well, I'm probably not going to break that because there's somebody else involved that's holding me accountable to a certain standard, or there's a level of professionalism like we were talking about if I just blow things off. So why do that to yourself? You wouldn't be friends with someone, or you wouldn't be in business with someone that does that to you all the time. So you should not do that to yourself because you need to treat yourself with the same level of respect that you do everyone else that you deal with.
What I've noticed, like I've said this. I actually have 5 rules. I call them the 5 rules. First rule: show up. Second rule: do your shit. Third rule: don't quit. Fourth rule: the rest is rain. Fifth rule: don't get out of your way. Right. Right. Showing up is literally the hardest for a lot of people to follow. It's that first step of actually establishing whatever that momentum is.
Yeah.
So I guess actually for both of you, so when you get a new client, like what is that's probably the biggest challenge for them. Even though they say they want help, right? They what do they really want?
So this brings me to this anecdote which I've told you so many times, but so years ago I had this one client who was very, very fit and I was getting her ready to compete in a show. And I was talking to her while we were training, and then one of my coworkers who worked in a different department, not in the gym, she came in for her workout. So we were talking, and she was looking at the shape of my client, and she's like, "Oh, I wish I could do that, and I can't." And I just looked at her, I'm like, "Why not?" And she's like, "I just don't have the time." So I looked at my client. I'm like, "Why don't you tell her about your life a little bit here?" So the client that I had there, she had 2 jobs. 3 kids, and she was training for this competition, as well as she was in the middle of a divorce. Like everything was going on, but she showed up.
Yeah.
So as my client was like, "Well, I have kids. or the coworker, she's like, oh, I have kids and they have to do all this stuff. And of course my client's like, well, oh, I have 3 kids. She's like, yeah, but I'm here, 7-8 hours a day. And she's like, well, I'm at my one job 6 hours a day and my other job 4 hours a day. And then we just kept going through all this stuff where she's like, well, I have this. And then my client's like, oh, well, I have that too. At the end of the conversation, my coworker's like, okay, fine, I just don't want to.
There you go.
Then I'm like, why didn't you just say that though? And this is my thing that I always get to people. It's like, it's okay to not want to. You don't have to prove anything to anyone else.
Yeah.
If you don't want to, you don't have to bolster and say you want something you don't want. If you don't want it, it's okay.
I think people don't realize how much of a waste of time all those excuses are.
Yeah.
All right. It's just if you don't want to do it, cool.
Yeah, exactly. No one's going to hate you.
Yeah. That's refreshing. I don't want to do it. There'll be that moment of, I'm shocked you said that. And then, but on the same time, after that, it's like, but at least you tell me where you stood. I can respect that, yeah. Right?
And again, like, people don't have to agree with it, but the thing is, you're not living your life for other people.
Yeah.
So if you don't want something, say so. It's okay.
Yeah. People get very caught up in what they think they should be doing.
Yeah.
But if it's not a good fit for you, don't worry about it. Like,
it's no different than what you're saying, like with the parent who thought you should be in a specific job because it's safe.
Yeah.
Well, I won't lie. My parents were not happy with the field I picked. Right? Like
and then, but when you're successful, they kind of go, oh, you're right. Yeah.
And the thing is, I'm successful in the work that I do. I'm very successful. I don't want to sound boisterous, but yes, I am one of the best in Calgary in my field when it comes to personal training. That's what I've been doing for so long, and I'm proud to say it. And that measure is based off my clientele, my feedback, my reviews, all of that. So I can comfortably say that and not feel worried about it.
Well, no.
And the thing is, on the other side of that, if you have a trainer who's not comfortable enough to say that, maybe that's not the best trainer to work with, because there should be a level of confidence.
It's a weird balance, because you have to be enough of a megalomaniac to have the audacity to say, I'm good. But you got to be careful with that too, because on the flip side, it's like there's a line between I'm good and now you're just pissing me off. Right?
I always say it this way: is I'll say I'm good and then I'll show you why.
Yeah. Well, and then it's like oh.
So, but like that's the thing is, I've worked very hard to be able to say that and be comfortable when I say that.
Yeah.
And now when it comes to like my parents looking at what I do now they don't say anything about me not picking the right field, because they're like, well, he did it. Now the flip side of that coin, well, not even the flip side, but the same side of that coin, I can say comfortably, I can't remember the last time I woke up saying I don't want to go to work.
Yeah.
I love what I do. Every day I wake up and I'm training people, I'm helping people, I'm in my environment of gym, or even when I'm training people, so I do my online stuff upstairs even, but like just, I'm always doing fitness stuff which makes me happy.
So right? I guess we'll dig into this then. So why we came on with an online model. So where did that come into play, and how did you stumble into it, or discover it, or how did that go?
So there's online training is not a new thing.
No.
It's been around for ages. But the thing is, usually it was the client will contact a trainer who does the online training. The trainer will send them a program, and they'll talk to them a couple times a week online about their updates and all this kind of stuff. And then it's like, okay, well, semi-successful. Then you have the people who are like, well, I'm going to workout video, I'm going to do this on my own, and I'm going to eat right. Semi-successful. Well, now you have the online training aspect where you get that program. You have the video aspect, except now I'm taking that video aspect and saying, well, no, now it's live. You're not going to get the same workout every day, all the time, doing the same video. I'm changing this every single day. I'm changing your results. If you have issues with something, I'm going to fix you and help you through that issue. Or if you can't do a certain motion, say like a video gives you an exercise you can't do, well, tough, that's it. With me, I'm live, so I'm with you. I see you can't do it, or you're telling me you can't do it, so I'm giving you a modification. And then, again, that accountability factor. If you book in for a 6 a.m. class, I need to see you there. If you're not there, I'm going to be calling you or messaging you or whatever, being like, you said you'd be here, where are you? Right? So with a video, you don't have that. With an online trainer, you can tell them you did the workout. They don't know, and sadly, I've had clients who have told me they've been working out when they weren't. I've had clients who told me they followed their nutritional plan I gave them and they weren't, right? I can't see it. Whereas now, it's like, okay, now we're mixing the two, and then they get the both worlds.
Yeah, and it's interactive it's using it. It's more interactive, which actually. So, would you recommend? Do you still prefer like the one-on-one in-person kind of deal?
I would say the nice thing about one-on-one in person is that you get to like that physical being there, right? That is nice. Now, a lot of the clientele we tend to get for this also is the people who now, if you have kids and you can't find childcare, what do? Right? Well, they're at home now. They don't have to worry about the childcare. Now, if you have to get to a job and you won't have time to get to a gym, do your workout, get home, get cleaned up, well, roll out of bed, roll in front of your computer, turn it on, let's go, and boom, you're right by your shower. Right? So, again, when it comes to the talk of excuses, time is no longer an excuse, travel and commute is no longer an excuse. You roll out of bed and let's get to it.
Yep. There's also a few people or some of our clients that there's an intimidation factor about going to a gym too. Like if you we were talking about the percentage of people that are at a gym and don't know what they're doing. So now they have this, they can be at home in the comfort of their own home. They're not worried about who's looking at me or anything like that, and getting a really good workout.
I love the fact that, and this is one of the biggest things I want to always promote, is it doesn't matter how long somebody comes to us and stays with us, because my biggest thing is if you come to me, I want you leaving better. Whether if you choose to stay, awesome, that's what I want. But if you leave and you're no longer going to stay with the program I run, which I haven't had too many people leave, and the only ones that I had leave were just because of schedule. But when they come in and we start working out together, and then all of a sudden they're like, I am better, and then they're like, I can't do this anymore, and now I'm sad. That's what I want. I want them to actually be upset that they can't stay.
Yeah.
And I got one of my nicest reviews from a little while ago where that was exactly the case. Her schedule, because she's in school, couldn't attend the morning classes anymore, and I only do mornings. And she sent me a message, and she was like, I loved your workouts. They made me feel so good. I'm so sad I can't be there anymore. But the thing is, now I at least can know what to do on my own.
Yeah.
Perfect. That's what I want.
Well, that's the ultimate goal. Yes, you would like, as obviously you want a steady client base, which is a good thing. But ultimately, for both of you, the goal is for people to come into, whether it's a life coaching thing or whether it's a workout thing, it's the ability to be independent. Because that's the ultimate goal.
I don't want them to depend on me for everything. I want them to actually learn how to be confident with what they're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
In their physical abilities and in their life, their job, whatever it is they're tackling. Yeah, if they leave a better person and are confident and believe in themselves,
we've done our job.
We're golden.
Yeah. So I guess I should ask this then before we wrap this up. So is it you guys work together? I'm assuming. Like, is it like with what you guys do as your business? I'm assuming there's a separate, and then there's a unification where both apply. Because I could see where your stuff would definitely apply with his. And there's something about doing a physical workout that makes you feel more confident when you actually tackle life stuff. It's just that they actually feed hand in hand. So I mean, I guess what I'm saying is, do you guys have like an interactive, like interlocking course where both of you are working with specific clients?
We've actually done that multiple times with a number of clients. Yeah.
When they sign up for boot camp, they get a lifestyle consultation, which includes nutritional information and whatnot, and also like they can talk about what challenges they're facing, what they want to overcome. So that comes into the coaching realm. So I usually handle those consultations. Some of my clients aren't necessarily doing the boot camp, but a lot of times I encourage them, not just because it's good for us, but because it's good for them to do something. So whether it's with us or on their own, just doing that physical piece, like you said, helps boost self-confidence.
Well, so many people, they don't realize that they realize afterwards, but when they start doing something physical, they automatically start feeling better because you feel accomplished.
Yeah.
And a lot of my backstory through our company was essentially through my own personal backstory, which is because I went through a unfortunate bout with cancer, which kind of demolished my life for a while. And that kind of, if it wasn't for my health history prior to my cancer, I wouldn't be having this conversation with you today. Right? So I was actually given a terminal diagnosis, and I beat it, even though it went that far. And so, I mean, yes, folks, it was bad. I was, late. I went from a 250 pound, I just won a national title, and, so I was fighting strong, and then all of a sudden cancer hit me, so I went from 250 pounds to 120 in 3 months. Lost everything, my body was broken, I had to move back home because I couldn't take care of myself, it was bad. But had I not been in the physical condition I was prior to that, I wouldn't have survived, period. Right? So physical activity doesn't just benefit you now, it benefits your life, right? Like,
yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, I don't do a proper work. I work, my day job is just a physical labor job, but I do come out of that feeling accomplished.
Well, that's why I say physical activity, not necessarily working, but physical work, right?
Yeah. There's something something.
Get up and move.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And as a result, I'm always fairly confident. I'm in decent shape. I'm not saying I'm like in an athletic shape. I'm in always decent shape, and so again, it's not like I feel like I can always do anything.
Yeah.
And that's a good
feeling, right?
Yeah, headspace to be in. So, I guess what we'll do is I think we have an interview. What do you guys think?
No, I think that was good.
yeah. What do you guys think? So, how about this? You guys, this will be coming out about March.
Okay.
So, why don't you guys plug, if you're doing anything special in March, plug it here, plug your company, and how can people find you?
Okay.
So we are Aspire Higher Health and Fitness. You can find us online at www.aspirehigherfitness.com.
Yeah, and then you can email us with any questions or any concerns, anything you want to talk about. That's info@aspirehigherfitness.com, and definitely let us know, because aside from anything else, we just want to hear what is it that you face, because that's what we do. We want to know, what do you face in your life that makes you feel like you have an obstacle that you can't beat, and then we'll tell you why you can. Not necessarily tell you that you can. We're going to show you how to.
All right. And that was my conversation with Vijay and Traci. Their program, Aspire Higher, is currently online. You should definitely check them out if you're interested in what they're doing. Like I said at the beginning, this is a really unique form of life coaching, exercising, mental training. It's really, really good. Thanks, guys, for coming on my show. You're welcome back anytime, and hopefully you keep doing well. Beyond all that, it's contest time. Words and Pictures has provided me with yet another graphic novel. I'm currently holding Stephen King's The Stand, American Nightmares. Stephen King's story. But it's written by Roberto Aguirre Sacasta. Mike Pertins is the illustrator. Laura Martin is an amazing colorist, and you definitely should check her stuff out. This is a cool book courtesy of Marvel Comics, courtesy of Words and Pictures. And to get this book, or to be eligible for this book, there's going to be a link in the description. Basically, it goes to a mailing list. If you put your email in, you are automatically entered. I've already awarded 2 of these books out so far, and I'm going to continue to do so this week. So if you guys are interested, simply put your name in the email list, and you will qualify, and I will randomly pick one for Thursday's episode with my guest, Brandy Ackerley. And that will do it for this episode of Just Joshing. So, I am on Patreon. I will be doing a major update on Patreon probably Tuesday, catching up with everything. But beyond that, patreon.com, Just Joshing Podcast. If you want to donate to the podcast, you're more than welcome to do so that way. My YouTube channel is Joshua Pantellaresco. There's currently 142 episodes in the archive. I've just added a bunch more in regards to this from this episode. So I definitely currently have, of the 240 episodes, I have almost 200 of them online, which I think is a really cool feat. My books, The Watcher, Storm Dancer, and Wandering God, are available through Mirrorwell Publishing. You can check them out at their website, mirrorwellpublishing.com. You can definitely check them out on Amazon, Kobo, wherever books are sold. Beyond all that, the podcast, you can subscribe to it itself. It is on Podomatic, but it's also on Spotify, Google Play, iTunes. You can hit all those things. Beyond all that, though, guys, stay inspired. Keep doing your thing. Thank you very much for listening, and I'll talk to you guys next time.
Josh.